I want to talk a little bit about your go-to-market. And I know in cybersecurity in general, we're operating in a very crowded and competitive space. Can you talk a bit about how you approach your go-to-market strategy? Of course, we do this in partnership with Magnitude, which we are very thankful for. The team has a tremendous amount of experience in cyber, and I think they think very similarly to us, which is to be very cognizant that there are multiple decision makers involved in the purchase of cybersecurity solutions, and specifically in cyber risk management. There are security folks, there are often HR folks, there are general managers and business leaders in departments. There's also the executive team. And so, thinking about those different functions and making sure that we're helping those different departments and different individuals understand and simplify this category, simplify our offerings, and also help provide those stakeholders with the information and data they need to support their recommendations. Sometimes, user activity monitoring or insider risk management can almost be like insurance, right? It's like investing in something to avoid something. And so helping to explain and understand that is very important. Additionally, we do think very vertically focused, and Magnitude is a great partner on that front as well, because recognizing the applications here in healthcare are different than those in finance, and making sure that we can convey the benefits of our solutions for those verticals and help our customers and prospects just make use of this faster.
This is kind of the eternal challenge, I think, Natalie, is trying to come up with a go-to-market strategy. And as you rightly pointed out, it is essentially something that is a bit of a flooded market. And I think for us, our go-to-market is based on delivering a cohesive strategic view for our clients. And that's something that for us links the tactical, operational cybersecurity to the strategic. And for me, that is something that is underpinned by the cultural aspects that support cybersecurity and business transformation. So I actually started my career as a general management consultant before I moved into cybersecurity. So I spent a lot of time working in organizational change, focusing on behavioral change and running large business transformation programs. So for me, a lot of those, that breeding ground still holds true in terms of all of the work that we do, where we still focus on very heavily on the people aspects of cybersecurity with a large focus on culture. So that underpins a lot of the work that we do as well, because ultimately we still work with people and humans and that intersection of humans and technology. And we're not yet replaced by machines, Natalie. So we're still in the people business. And those cultural aspects that support everything that we do in security are still core and fundamental to organizational life and making cybersecurity successful. So that's a big component of how we go to market and the way that we communicate with our clients.
It's very focused on only largest customers or company sizes, but also being very deliberate about being very high touch, onboarding customers personally, and only focused on very much focused on founder-led sales at this time as well. We want to be learning directly from our customers, and only now that we've the last year has been a lot of that direct sales with these large enterprises. So now we are starting to see that the benefit of that, where now partners are approaching us, system integrators are approaching us to integrate our solution or use our solution into their solution, which is helping us now accelerate go-to-market, accelerate our product, bringing our product in front of other customers, where it doesn't involve a lot of like our sales team going out in front of like users, but building these indirect channels for us. So that's the go-to-market that we see working really good for us.
Remember the first time you used ChatGPT? It was mind-blowing the way it understood kind of meaning and context. Now imagine using the same kind of tools to understand malicious emails. That's what we're doing. It's called intent-based AI threat detection. And it's a difficult one, I'll be honest with you, right? So, the one thing that we've got, which is a good thing, is we're solving a problem which is well understood. I don't need to go into a lot of detail about new things. And so everybody understands this problem. And that's the biggest advantage and disadvantage, right? Because everybody understands the problem, what we commonly find is everybody's got a solution already and everybody thinks that they've solved that problem already. Right? I've got a solution. I just signed up with XYZ vendor. I don't need another solution at least for another 3 years. That's kind of common what we find. So the approach we're taking is just to be really honest, right? Rather than using buzzwords and marketing and so forth, really try and help the customer understand that, number one, we're addressing a weakness in current technologies. And number two, AI is just around the corner and, that technology that they've got probably will not work. But we're not saying it's 100% not going to work, because let's just be really careful in how we communicate with them. And what we're saying to them is try us out, because our deployment only takes less than 10 minutes. And we can prove to the customer if their existing solutions are good or they need to really double click and look at us in more detail. And that, it's a very kind of a simplistic approach. And I think we have to have that kind of very simplistic approach, because customers are just inundated with so many vendors. There's so much marketing. There's so much AI can solve world hunger, kind of, comments from everybody. So we're just taking a kind of like a simple kind of a take, which is, look, we know we're a startup. We know you shouldn't believe us, right? And try us out in a non-invasive way, in a kind of a scanning mode, and use us as a validation that your current technology is great, or that you need to spend some time looking at another solution, right? And I think that's what we're finding is working for us at the moment, in the stage we're in at the moment.
I'd love to talk a little bit about your go-to-market. Can you talk about, as you think about where you've come from, where you're heading, any lessons learned from kind of past go-to-market successes or challenges?
What we are aware of as a company is that we don't have the most resources of everybody in the world. And the way we have actually succeeded at what we do from a GTM and a marketing is that I think we've gotten really good at listening to our customers really, really well. And I know that's trite and generic to say, but I think I can honestly say that within our space, we believe that we can understand their issues and empathize with them better than anyone else. And what we have basically developed as a muscle in the company is that we are able to talk to our target market, solve their issues pretty well as compared to anybody else, and then narrate that success. And that's basically becomes the foundation of all our GTM activities. That gives us unique and an authentic voice, and it gives us real stories that we narrate to customers. And that's what actually helps us just amplify and multiply any GTM activity we are doing, whether that's inbound and outbound and channel and field and sales and everything else. But it's based on top of real stories or real things that we have heard from our customers, and that just drives not just a GTM but a product roadmap as well. So that's the 2 cents that you would get from a product person about how we look at GTM.
I originally started in the domain of business and cybersecurity and all that kind of stuff as an engineer, right? And I did not have a lot of respect for sales or marketing or go-to-market stuff or anything like that. And so I've had to learn the hard way over many, many years in building organizations and all that kind of stuff, some of which were very successful, some of which are not so successful and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that I think is not necessarily novel to know, but I think is very, very true and is a good reminder for folks is just because you build something cool, right, doesn't mean that people will come, right? And more importantly, when you're building something, you really want to know your ideal target customer profiles and what you're actually trying to solve for, right? Don't create a solution that's searching for a problem that doesn't really exist in the marketplace. And I would say to anybody who maybe is more of an entrepreneur and are looking to kind of build something, be it if it's a cyber SaaS offering or if it's professional services based and all that kind of stuff is, stop trying to say that everyone in the world is your ideal customer profile. They're not, right? Really figure out what you know the background of quite well.
From the marketing or PR side, what are the things that you find work best for you when you're looking to engage cybersecurity buyers?
I think one of the most important things for me is to be able to talk to them, to communicate and message them, hey, here's some of the problems, the vulnerabilities, the pain points. And if that aligns with what they're seeing, which it often does, then use that as an opportunity to educate them. And I try to do it in a lot of different ways. Writing e-papers, blogging, being on great podcasts like this, on TV, on radio, going to trade shows, presenting to audiences, sharing knowledge and tips, the things that I've learned. And often it's the mistakes I've made too. A lot of people don't realize that sharing your own misfortunes. The first book I wrote was Hacked Again. It was the story of how our company, a wireless security company that focuses on cybersecurity, was targeted and repeatedly hacked. I mean, we had $65,000 stolen out of our checking, DDoS attacks, a Twitter account hacked, credit card, debit card hacked. I had identity theft against me, had property that somebody tried to steal from us recently by a fake listing on the MLS system. So the list goes on and on. We are targets. And in the process of this, over the past 10 years, I've learned some basic things, practical things that each and every person can do to really strengthen their cybersecurity posture, be it as just a consumer or even as a business owner. So I think sharing and educating people, that to me is probably the best type of PR. You can take out ads and spend a lot of money, and it works to some extent. But when you're educating and you're imparting knowledge and sharing knowledge, now you're part of the solution because you're getting down on the customer's level and really understanding what pains are they dealing with and how can you easily help them with a solution that answers all of their questions. So probably the most important part is really listening to the customers. I think most companies and all the years I've been doing this, they don't really listen to their customers. To me, when I'm developing a new product, one of the first things I do, I actually call my customers and say, hey, do you have 2 minutes? I'm thinking of developing this product. I heard there's a problem in the industry. I'm curious, do you see that problem? And oftentimes, in fact, I did this recently with a couple of penetration testers that I know over the years. I talked about the bad cables and the problems, and they said, you know what, Scott, not only is that a problem, but when you have a solution, can I beta test that for you? Can I give you real world feedback from a penetration tester standpoint? I was like, absolutely, sure. Let me write down. Yep, I'll get it right to you as soon as we have it. So it's really listening, not just surface level. How many of these products can I sell? This and that. That'll come later on. But listening to the problems and the little nuances and features that customers want. Once you design that in, they become your sales force. They tell the world. They have a vested interest now because they said, geez, I told them about this little feature, the need for this product. They listened and they delivered. You can't beat that from the standpoint of PR, marketing, or sales.